So here's directions to the tertiary site that we were scouting, and he pulls it up on a map, which he's also sharing these maps with you on your device, so you can look at it too. And it's like the site where the monster is, and the site that you're at, and this tertiary site almost makes a triangle. He's like, yeah, it should take about an hour to get there, and then I'm not sure how long from there to our primary site. Fortunately, I don't know if we have anything else that'd be quite big enough to help with this thing. But you're welcome if you want to take one of our carts.
That would be nice. I would appreciate that. I want to be walking for several days to take care of this.
Any other animals in the area besides, the serpent and the Viangnang?
I mean, we got some small critters and birds, but nothing I can think of that you should be worried about that's not like normal worries, like smaller snakes and so forth. It's part of why we picked this is there's not a lot of big predators we have to worry about. And then that happened. It's right as the video shows a very quick snake popping its head up to eat the entire duck in one go.
Yeah. Alright, let's go retrieve the thing and...
So you load up in the cart that they're lending you, and you head off, and talk about anything on the way there, or...
Yeah, if it's just the two of us, Malaya will sort of wait a little bit and say, do you really think this was an accident, Captain? I mean...
I think rich folks are untrustworthy. I think that that's too much of a coincidence that an odd duck came by and then we have an odd duck eating monster.
I don't know if it would have been someone who would want to put them out of business or out of commission, or...
I mean, that seems unlikely for someone who's a donor, but it would just posing. That's always... But Glenn is a kinder and more trusting soul than either of us. I didn't want to worry them over much.
Yeah. Unless we have evidence, I don't think we should have that be something they have to consider.
Throwing around unjustified accusations is definitely something we would like to avoid. It's back to the serpent. I know we're getting this hole and loop situation. Do you have any other thoughts on how we could possibly contain this creature without harming it?
I mean, I could try sort of tuning myself to it a bit to see if there's anything that would, like, attract it, so we could get it to a specific place, but I think it'll depend on what's in the treatment plant, because it will need water, I'm assuming, to survive. So we don't want to just take it out of the water completely, but if there's some sort of holding tank that used to have chemicals in it, but doesn't now, something like that that's deactivated.
It is a creature from one of their sister sites. Oh, I should have asked Glenn to check and see if any of them possibly put out a missing creature alert for something like this. Because they said that that owner was going around to their sister sites, and I know they have different types of animals in those. It's not just the iron.
Clarification. He said it was possible if the donor was going to other sites. He didn't specify that the donor was the person looking to donate who wanted a tour first.
Yeah. Well, I'm working under an assumption.
Gotcha. Fair. Just wanted to clarify that.
try to reach out to him if we have signal. I mean, we're kind of far away from anyone, but you never know.
I'm driving again, I guess. So I hand over the comms that I have, and I already have their communication tab with Glenn up from when I was previously speaking with them when we were getting here. Yeah, message them, let them know that we had that thought to see if any of their sister locations were missing a creature that fits this thing's description. Because if they are, we definitely don't want to
Hurt
take care
it.
of it permanently, you know.
Okay, so yeah, I'll send a message off to Glenn, see like, did any of your your sibling organizations, or have you heard anything that, like, any sort of rumors that a creature of this description has been lost and was like missing? This is Malaya, by the way.
It's a
Like,
few minutes, but he does respond back. Haven't gotten any alerts. I did ask a few people who I know work more in reptilian habitats, but have either gotten a response back that they aren't missing any that they know of, or there are a couple who appear to be in meetings for the next hour. We'll let you know if I get any more information. Also, you mentioned possibly like trapping it in something you find at the treatment plant.
yeah.
Everything that is there has been like they took extra special care to make sure there weren't any like chemicals left over. So there might be still like containers and stuff, but everything is clean. Well, clean of chemicals.
Yeah, clean of chemicals.
So you get to the secondary location and roll plus sharp, Ileen, because you were driving to see if you can sort of find where they left up, where they were working, or where their sort of base camp was.
14!
Awesome!
Hell yeah. You don't even have to like look that hard. You just know. Maybe like you went to school with them, but you know exactly where they put it. You knew where you would have put it, so you just zoom on up and Malaya roll me just plus sharp to see if you notice at all.
Oh boy. That's a 7.
It takes you a few minutes to figure out where Ileen is going, but she seems very confident about where she's going, so you just kind of like nod, and then you see these signs of like, oh, because
There
they
it is.
probably set up like a very well disguised like shelter, like how hunters have deer hides except for different purpose. And it's well disguised, and you realize, wait, that weird looking bush isn't a weird looking bush. It's like, oh wait, that's a good disguise for a shelter. Yeah, you were able to find it with no problem, and I'll say, Ileen, with how good that roll is, you find 2 of those loops, and you find like a pretty well stocked first aid kit, bandages, anti-venom, stuff like that.
Andy, get along. Apologize.
Yeah. Also for another additional high or low.
High.
You also find it's kind of like a hunting lure. You know, that's probably not what they used it for, but it could be very helpful for potentially like luring creatures away from a certain area. You don't know if it like draws to or like scares away. You found something that could either be used as a lure or a repellent. Potentially. Or at the very least, a distraction.
This was a very good trip. Time well spent. Okay, so let's head over to the treatment and see what we can see. Sound good? Or are you wanting to look for some stuff too, Malaya? And you see?
I mean, I can try to look around, but do you want me to roll sharp too, or?
Go for it.
Okay, that's a 10.
Okay. Are you looking for like anything in particular, or do you want to pretend like it's investigating a mystery, or?
Yeah, I can't think of anything in particular. We have anti-venom, we have the hoop things. Maybe see if I can maybe investigate that attractor or repellent to see maybe which one it is.
Ileen, I imagine maybe just hands you this little I'm just picturing something that looks vaguely like a wooden and or rubber duck. I don't know why, like those rubber chickens. That is what I'm picturing.
All right.
That's just what I'm picturing in my head. And as you look at it, you recognize it. This is something like it gives off a sound like an injured creature.
Okay.
Should you know it will make like injured and scared duck noises. And you specifically saw this thing eating a duck.
Eat duck. It's an attractant. Okay. Cool.
Injured duck noises. I'm not adding that sound effect in. I don't want to have to look up injured duck noises.
And just upload a sound of the actual screaming chicken.
You have made a very good trip. Now it is off to the reservoir. And Eileen, give me another sharp roll as you find your way there.
Got an 8.
It takes a little longer to get there. You have to go through some rougher terrain because the site was being scouted with the base camp being the secondary site instead of the first site. It takes longer, it's a rougher ride, and you kind of have to detour around, and that does slow you down as well. And you discuss anything more on the way?
I mean, I may check Eileen's communicator, see if Glenn has responded with any more information.
He hasn't sent you any more updates, no.
I may send a quick message to them, being like, we got to the base camp and found the hoops, now going to water treatment.
Sounds good. Let me know if you need any backup or run into anything. We have some people here who can help.
Then I relay that to Eileen.
Ask them if there's a way to close off any of the sections of the treatment plan. Maybe we can lure it into one of them and keep it contained until someone can come and pick it up.
I'll message Glenn that.
Alexis, high or low?
Hi?
Yeah, I've just had one of our interns looking that up, and if you go into and he describes this area where it was basically an area that they could close off to test different purification protocols as well as taking samples. And he sends you what information he was able to find on like how to cordon that off, as well as there might be a couple other sort of emergency shutdown protocols that he is aware of. These haven't been used in a while, but they should work, so that whenever you go to use any of this information to try and cut an area off, you will get a +1. +1 forward using that information.
Either of us or just Malaya?
I'll say both of you because Malaya will share. I'm sure Malaya will share this information.
Yes. Yes, she will.
Sounds good.
Eventually, you approach. It looks like a really big pond or a really small lake. Sparkling blue water. That did slow you down, so sundown's going to be in a couple of hours.
We may have to spend the night with it. We'll see.
I mean, y'all can also just like go back and crash somewhere and deal with it in the morning. That is up to you.
That's true.
We're already all the way over here, though.
That is also true.
We can do before we lose light. If it gets too late, we may have to pick it up tomorrow.
You know, there's also, like, since this was their primary site, there are buildings with rooms that you can spend the night in. Some of the buildings are still there. They've probably been able to relocate some of them, like the main office and so forth, because modular buildings that are able to move around, so they don't have to trek back and forth to double check things. But they do leave modular buildings that can move around very easily. It just makes sense in a setup like this. So, as you are approaching, roll to read a bad situation as you are attempting to find how to get in here. You can both roll, or one person can roll.
I mean, I can try, but I have a 0 to sharp, so...
I got an 11.
Malaya sees nothing.
As long as Eileen's not, like, actively driving them towards a cliff, she's fine.
Yeah. Malaya, what are you distracted by?
She...
Sorry, I had a thought.
Oh, what?
Ileen, you got games on your phone?
Oh, yeah. Eileen, do you have
I don't have
anything on this?
no
I mean,
data.
no, that's fine. I couldn't think of anything except maybe something related to ducks, but...
You could be playing something on your phone because it's been a long ride and like
Yeah.
you need something to distract you because all the bumpity. Maybe you're getting a little car sick.
Yeah.
Or is there a weird spooky thing that could be happening to you?
Okay, so 3 tags my dark side is rage, poor impulse control, and hallucinations. So I could be hallucinating, I guess.
Sticking with the theme. You hallucinate that there's ducks following you. Shadows of like creatures flying towards you, and there's like things moving along the ground occasionally.
I think at first she's concerned, then when she's realized that they're ducks, she's like, we're going towards a predator of yours. Shoo! She shoo! She tries to shoo them away. Not to like the point where she actually is in danger of falling out of the vehicle, but I think Eileen has some questions.
Yeah. Speaking of questions, Eileen, you get to ask 3. Also, Malaya's hallucinating next to you slightly.
Doesn't seem like a really bad hallucination, though.
Earrings have this weird sort of like faint pulsing glow to them. It's a little different than the normal she is doing weird stuff glow. This is more of a weird stuff's happening to her glow.
Okay, just gonna leave that alone for now. What's my best way in?
As you're scanning the area, looking around where you know that the entrance should be, you do notice it's like it's built into the ground. But you do see sort of the doorway that would lead you down into the treatment facility.
The biggest threat?
You see Malaya react to something, and your eyes just kind of like automatically dart over there. You see that there is, in fact, a creature. It is hiding far back among some of the brush, but there is some sort of larger predator that seems to have moved into this area while it has been evacuated. It doesn't strike you as something that would be a threat to a large pack of the online, but it is something that would be more likely to pick off any one creature that strays off too far. And since it's just the 2 of you, and I feel like it's probably going to get more bold when the sun goes down. So, depending on how long it takes you to deal with the serpent, you might also have to deal with the wolf. Which, yes, I had that in mind before I saw your shirt.
Like you were inspired. I ask what's most vulnerable to me? I would like to know what would be the best area to start our, I don't really want to say attack, but that's the only word I can think of right now, on this creature.
On the serpent?
Yes.
I'll describe this as you are going down into the plant because maybe you see like there is a layout map on the wall and you see there is this room where some of the water is let in through pipes, like just enough to where like there's a small pool. You know how I mostly see this in video games, so like there's like those underground caves where there's a small pool of water. Have a similar situation to that, so serpent could potentially get into there, and then if you can get it and pull it up onto ground, it would only have to haul this thing a couple of feet to get it in a room where it can't get back to the water. So that would be a good place to go. You can also, if the creature that is lurking just outside of your peripheral vision decides to come in after you, there are many doors you can shut between you and it, and then deal with it later. But also, if you close the door behind you, it shouldn't follow. They don't have thumbs.
I'm going to say I closed the door.
Not that hungry.
Yeah. Most creatures struggle with doors.
No, I was thinking try to break through it.
Door.
Yeah.
Unless you have a really